What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Comic Island. My name is Joey and I just finished reading a really awesome comic series by Al Ewing. If you haven't done so yet, I do recommend picking up the Ultimates 1 and Ultimates 2. This is when you get a bunch of superheroes such as Black Panther, Blue Marvel, and Captain Marvel going into space to solve the ultimate problem. They essentially turned a really popular, powerful bad guy into essentially a good guy. So that being said, it inspired me to make this video, but we've seen this type of videos before. Supervillains turn into superheroes, but the list hasn't been updated in quite some time. So I took 10 of the more popular supervillains turned heroes, starting from say the mid-90s and moving forward. That being said, I present to you Comic Island's top 10 supervillains turned into superheroes. Let's face it, Batman fights a lot of non-powered supervillains. The Joker, Two-Face, the Penguin, all using their wicked intellect to cause chaos, but certain Gotham villains such as Bane or Clayface poses an immediate dangerous threat to our Dark Knight Defender. Since Bane is nowhere near his path to the light side, let's talk about the other guy, Basso Carlo, aka Clayface. This guy has mastery over shapeshifting, weapon forming, projectile firing, and can basically turn himself into liquid form anytime he wants, making him a guy you do not want to bump into in a dark alley. He's been driven mad, killed innocents, joined up with multiple supervillain groups, and is a thorn to Batman's side for decades. But DC Rebirth gave Basso Carlo some new intrigue by turning him from a monstrous villain into a misunderstood, reluctant bad guy. Batman recruits members of his Bat family to face a threat he cannot see, so to tip the scales, Batman convinces Clayface to lend his powers and to fight on the side of the good guys for once. Since being recruited by the Bat family, Clayface has supported his new teammates, saves them from an attack by super trained soldiers who took out Batman, and even comes to Batman's rescue with the rest of the gang. During his time with Gotham's protectors, Clayface took orders without question. He showed no signs of wickedness, but rather, as a support character, he basically just wanted to fit in. That being said, let's hope he continues his work with Batman for future storylines. Jason Todd may have started out as a hero, but in 1989, after a vote to have him killed off, he came back to life, following Superboy Prime's punch through the fabric of space-time itself. Fast forward to 2005, Todd's short journey as the sidekick to one of DC's greatest heroes led him to don a new identity, the Red Hood. This is when he terrorized the Bat family. He kidnapped Tim Drake, he went toe-to-toe with Nightwing, and of course, we can't forget about his tangle with Damian. His villain run didn't last too long as we see Todd join Bruce Wayne's Batman Incorporated. In the New 52, a few things have changed, but we mostly see Jason Todd as being a hero. He is barely an anti-hero anymore since he is willing to work with Batman. But of course, he makes it on this list due to the fact that it has only been a little over a decade since his revival and transformation from villainy to one of Batman's closest allies. Outcasted and incarcerated as a boy, Magneto grew up resenting humankind for their mistreatment of mutants. This led him down to a collision course with Xavier's X-Men, who strives for mutant-human coexistence. In 1981, Magneto's thirst for dominance over humankind nearly ended the life of X-Men Kitty Pryde. This sparked his road to heroism, and in 2017, he is now a core member of the X-Men lineup. Before these events, he was your run-of-the-mill big boss bad guy that ran the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and would often go against the X-Men do-gooders. But since Kitty Pryde's near-death scare, the Master of Magnetism slowly shows signs of resigning his villainous ways, and would rather work with the X-Men than against them. Magneto stood with Xavier's team when they went head-to-head with the Avengers. He protected his daughter Wanda against a superhero community who wants her dead before the House of M saga. He also joined forces with the other X-Men leaders in hopes of destroying a poisonous gas cloud that threatens the existence of mutant kind. Growing up, all young Annie wanted was to protect the ones he loved. If that means that he will one day become a Jedi, then so be it. But he couldn't save his loved ones. This drove him down the dark side, where he found himself at the end of the leash to a powerful Sith Lord. Darth Vader performed countless cruel acts. He slayed anyone who defied his master's command, going as far as to murder young Jedi Padawans. His malicious intent cuts fear throughout the galaxy. No one dares defy the Emperor's enforcers. Those who challenged him came to an agonizing end. But then his son, Luke Skywalker, came around. Luke never gave up on his villainous father, seeing the good in him instead of the evil. When faced with a choice between the death of his son or betray his master, Vader finally sets aside the dark side and saved his son, killing the Emperor. Unfortunately, there won't be any father-son reunion due to the fact that he was too heavily damaged to survive the encounter. Whenever you think of a villain for Superman, you generally think of Lex Luthor. The billionaire industrialist thrives on his determination to take down the Man of Steel. It has been over 75 years since their first encounter. But ever since 2013's Forever Evil event, Luthor started showing his heroic side. Yes, we can't say that he is just protecting his home planet, but it has been 4 years since then, and he has still held true to staying on the somewhat righteous path. We discovered that this new 52 version of Lex Luthor is motivated by his little sister, Lena Luthor. Following the death of New 52 Superman, Lex seeks to become the new hero of Metropolis, and above all, he wants to make his sister proud. After Superman's death, Luthor goes as far as to buy the Daily Planet just to acquire Superman's cape. With Mother Box technology, Lex creates a new armor with Superman's sigil as a sign of hope for his city. This doesn't go too well for pre-52 Superman, but following their battle, Luthor gives up the cape to finally show that this new 52 Lex Luthor will be on the side of the heroes moving forward. Victor Creed, aka Sabretooth, has been a long-time foe for the X-Men, in particular, the Wolverine. Their bitter rivalry spans decades. It has been reported that Sabretooth visits Wolverine on his annual birthdays in order to beat him within an inch of his life. These two shares the Berserker rage, but instead of keeping it under control, Sabretooth embraces it. He is a vicious, unrepentant killer. For years, Marvel writers chose not to turn him into a reluctant hero, calling him an unredeemable villain for the crimes he's done. But in 2014, Marvel's Access event changed all this. Sabretooth, along with many other heavy-hitting villains, got caught in an inversion spell meant for the Red Skull Onslaught entity. The spell did its job and turned the villains good, and unfortunately, turned the heroes bad. The ending of the event saw the villains and heroes restored to their original mindset, except for Iron Man and Sabretooth. Since then, Sabretooth kept his Berserker rage in check, and he has not yet reverted back to the wild, ferocious beast that he once was. He now joins Magneto's Uncanny X-Men team for a mission to keep his kind safe. The Venom symbiote, under Eddie Brock's control, has been a prime nemesis for Spider-Man and many more heroes in the MCU. After leaving Brock, the symbiote fell into the hands of the Department of Homeland Security. This government agency recruited Flash Thompson to bond with the symbiote. With the help of sedatives and his strength of will, Thompson manages to control the symbiote to a degree. This is where we see a change in the Venom symbiote. It loves being bonded with Thompson, going as far as saving Thompson's life in multiple occasions. After joining up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Thompson got brought to the planet of the symbiotes. This is where we learned that the Venom symbiote's mind got corrupted by the various hosts it has bonded with, turning it into a monster. But after being called home, Venom went through a purification and returned to its noble ways, to defend those who cannot defend themselves, with Flash Thompson as his host. Venom is a warrior, a crusader, the agent of the cosmos. Victor Von Doom, aka Dr. Doom, has been an arch-enemy to Reed Richards and his Fantastic Four for nearly 60 years. He once stole the power cosmic from the Silver Surfer after the cosmic being saved the planet from his former boss, Galactus. He also took the Beyonder's powers, proving that he is the most cunning out of all the other villains brought to Battleworld in Secret Wars 1984. He was marked by the devil at a young age, paving his tyrannical conquest over Latveria. He emerged again as a god during Secret Wars 2015, where we see him and him alone save the Earth from the incursions where other heroes have failed. After his godhood in Secret Wars 2015, Doom returns to the status quo but with his face restored. Something inside his brain must have switched because following his unchallenged godhood in Battleworld, Victor Von Doom decides to protect and preserve instead of conquer and destroy. One of the first things he does is to track down Iron Man, Tony Stark, just to say, hello, I'm not here to kill you, okay, bye-bye. After Tony's apparent death in Civil War II, Victor Von Doom decides to fill the Iron Man void, and he creates his own suit. He saw Tony's death as a sign, a chance for new beginnings. He remembers how he had absolute power, but he got brought down to his knees. So he went to Tony Stark, a man he admires. Now, Doom just wants to do what's right, protect instead of destroy. He isn't seeking redemption for the crimes he's committed. Doom just wants to do some good. So far, Doom saved Maria Hill from a mugging, takes out murderous robots, gives good advice to two boys, tells other Latvian boys to go to school, and saves the life of one of his greatest foes, Ben Grimm. It's still way too early to say that the infamous Iron Man is a hero, but if he continues this, then one of Marvel's greatest villains could end up as its strangest hero. You cannot make a Spider-Man villains list without including the Doctor. The arrogant and egomaniacal scientist has proven himself to be one of Spider-Man's fiercest enemies. But then after so many failed battles against Spider-Man, Otto Octavius finds his body failing his brilliant mind. So in a last-ditch effort, Dr. Octopus manages to do what other villains fail to do. He killed Spider-Man. The Doc manages to swap consciousness with Peter Parker. Doc Ock manages to live on in Peter Parker's body, while poor Peter dies in the villain's frail, broken vessel. This is when the villain's mind merged with what's left of Parker's subconscious. For the first time ever, Doc Ock learns the meaning. With great powers comes great responsibility. During the Goblin Nation event, Doc Ock realizes that he cannot save the city, and so he sacrifices his life and gives back the body to Peter Parker's growing subconscious. Doc Ock's final moments were heroic and noble. He found a woman he loves and he did great things in a borrowed body. But ultimately, he did what he needed to do and sacrificed his life, realizing that Peter Parker is a greater hero than he will ever be. The cosmic being started out as a humanoid by the name of Galen from the planet Ta, but for reasons too long to mention in this video, he became the Deathbringer, the Devourer of Worlds, the hunger that does not cease, and the God of Oblivion. When his great hunger takes hold, billions of lives will perish, worlds will be left barren, and the hunger never ends. No other member on this list can say they have killed as many innocent souls as Galactus. He often finds adversaries in the Fantastic Four, Shi'ar Empire, and the Asgardians, but his most recent run-in with an Earth group called the Ultimates paved the way to his reform. The Ultimates sought out Galactus to solve the ultimate problem, his hunger. They trapped Galactus in his incubator, and using the reality warping material ISO 8, Galactus emerged with a new purpose: restore life to dead planets, starting with the first one he destroyed. He is no longer a force of destruction. Instead, Galactus goes by two aliases: the Lifebringer, the Seeder of Worlds. Since his rebirth, Galactus has granted a former villain, the Anti-Man, a piece of his cosmic power. Connor Sims was reborn and given a new purpose in life: to aid Galactus in his new quest to heal the universe as his new herald. Alrighty guys, so what did you think about the list? Now, there are so many other powerful, popular supervillains turned superheroes in the last 2 decades or so I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time in another Comic Island video.